Everyone, hope it's a dinari. Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Welcome everyone. Lovely sunshine. I've just quickly popped in to quickly make a little video for you and chat to you about the latest ongoing with Newcastle United and all the news. We are live on Twitch and we are also live across YouTube as well. We will be showing you the live chat as well, so do get your comments in, get your questions in, anything you'd like to get off your chest about all things Newcastle United. So welcome everybody. Hope you're all keeping well. The weather's been absolutely unreal the last 2 weeks. I think it's one of the warmest days of the year today, if not the warmest as well. I'm heading out with little Ferdinand after this as well to do some more film with Johnny and Joe later as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yes, welcome everyone. Hope you're doing all right. I'm going to jump straight to it. It's on the thumbnail. Newcastle United's home kit. Is this our new kit, everyone? That's what I want to know. Is it? This has been leaked today across the social media. We've got it on our social media platforms as well. I don't know. Do you know what? It looks very, very similar to this season's one, but with the shade on it, it looks like. Do you know what it is? I think Sam sent it on WhatsApp. It looks like a DH Gate knockoff where it's been washed a few times. I didn't like it, and I actually think it's fake. Let me know how you feel about this. The reason why I think it's fake, because yes, it's a concept. I know that, but look at the number on the right hand side of that picture. You can't have black with black. I'm pretty sure that the Premier League rules state that it needs to be a different colour to what your back is. Hence the reason why Newcastle have a lot of red normally the last few years on the back of the black and white tops. I'm sure that's the reason being. But I didn't like it. It looks like it's been washed or worn too many times and it's starting to wear away with the white patches. How do you feel about it? Not a big fan of it. I mean, it might grow on us, don't get me wrong, but yeah, until Footy Headlines, which they normally get the leaks pretty much spot on until they start doing them, and I'm not too sure on that, to be honest with you, with that kit. But this time of year, a lot of the kits start to come out, don't they? They start coming out left, right, and centre all over the place. But let's have a look. What is I saying in the chat? Wolf saying hello to you, Geordie Tune for Life. Afternoon to you, James. That's too much of a big word, James. How astrometrical to be real? Oh, blooming hell. Chris, hello. It better be fake. It's shite. He says, James, the light faded patches are wonky. I thought the same, says Rick. Cruel to be kind. Great name that. There's only so much you can do with the stripes. Umar, it's not fake, mate. This design is legit. Forget black and white. This is verified on Footy Headlines. Is it? Is this on Footy Headlines, generally? Because I've not seen that. So if it is, apologies, but I'm not a big fan of the number on the back of Isaac Blackmind. Nick's gone on to say, we hope we go in for Delap. 30 million would be a steal for young, up-and-coming English striker with Premier League experience. It's like we're building for the future with the future England team at Newcastle United with Gordon, Hall, Livermore, Trafford potentially, and Delap potentially. Hell says, good afternoon, chaps. Interestingly, I seen a great stat, the other day, where currently, at the moment, Newcastle United have the most England players right now who've either played or playing for England. I believe it was either 8 or 9 players who've either played or are playing for Newcastle. That's quite a stat. So I was wrapping my head around it thinking, well, John Ruddy's had 1 cap. Obviously, Kieran Trippier has been retired. And then there's obviously the current lads as well. So I was just... Callum Wilson obviously hasn't played for England for a while. So he's another former one. I was just going through that and I was like, blimey, that's quite a lot, Considering back in the day, Newcastle would never get an England player picked for. I think the most I remember being a kid was when we had 3 with Rob Lee, David Batty, and obviously Shearer, of course. And then it was only one every so often, like the Kieran Dyer or your Michael Owens or whatever. But yes, that's the kit leak. Apparently that's on Football Highlights according to Umar, but I don't like the back of it. I'm going to go on record and saying that's a fake. Just because of the number on the back. I just can't see in the Premier League allowing that to have black with black. Not for me, unless they change the colour. But there you go. In case you're joining us late, there's the rumoured kit for next season. It's very similar, but it looks like it's been washed so many times that it looks like it's a knockoff from DHgate. But there you go. So there you go, everyone. I'll be coming back to the live chat every so often as well. I want to talk about the news yesterday with Jamaal Lascelles, and this was with Chris Woff. Now, it's not official. However, Chris Woff doesn't normally come out and say stuff if he doesn't mean it. And especially with George Culkin and the athletic lads, they don't normally say something unless it's got legs to it. So, and I'll read it out here if you can't say it. Unannounced extension for the club captain until next year. May not play this season due to his ACL. Signing a right side centre-back is still a priority. And Jamaal Lascelles' Newcastle's deal won't expire this summer, but runs out next year, and that effect has on summer plans. Now that's interesting because obviously the guy to him left, Fabian Schar, that's been made official. And obviously when he scored that wonder goal on Monday night, which was absolutely sensational. Now that only leaves 3 players who are inverted commas free agents because it's unofficial. There's a lot of speculation saying that Trippier's staying until next year, and Sean Longstaff as well. So if that is the case, then that only leaves Mark Gillespie, John Ruddy, and Callum Wilson as the remaining 3 players who are free agents. So, interesting one on that. And I was I was a bit surprised because if this is genuine, I didn't expect Lascelles and Shea to stay. Me and Dale did a video a couple of weeks back of probably one of the two, and especially with Kraft signing a contract extension as well. I don't get it. What you keep both of them? Because if you're looking to bring in a right centre back and you're going to splash the cash this summer, and if it's a Mark Gahey or whoever, I don't get why you keep Lascelles, Shea, and Kraft, all 3 of them. Yes, we're in Europe. Yes, there'll be rotation, but then you've got Dan Burn, you've got Sven Botman as well, and a new centre back, Alex Murphy's going to come back from his loan. So I don't know. Maybe to get a transfer fee. Possibly in the summer, maybe to get a free in January, potentially. That might be the reason why. But I think Lascelles is probably behind Krath now. Because I think Eddie Howe doesn't mind chucking Krath in now. When Kraft was at the club, we were all seen him as make you take him in a man queue. It was like, oh, Christ. 2 of the worst right backs going. But Kraft has massively improved. He's a steady Eddie. He's a 7 out of 10 no matter where he plays now. So, interesting on that. But yeah, as I say, Fabian Schar, on the other hand, has signed that 1-year contract extension. And we are going to stay on the topic of Fabian Schar because it's another one. And Andy Carroll was baiting him in social media on his Instagram. And obviously this is referencing a bit of joke that Fabian Schar and Jacob Murphy had. Because obviously Fabian Schar chipped him and Hermanson from inside his own box and hit the bar, and it obviously fell to Jacob Murphy and he slogged home. And I think Fabian Schär's having a bit of joke on in the celebrations that I never passed you because you were offside, so you went for goal. And obviously Murphy got the rebound, tapped it in, had a bit of a laugh about it. And then obviously Fabian Schär's then posted on his Instagram about the game and the celebrations and what have you. And Andy Carroll's replied, but obviously Andy Carroll is being coached by Steve Bruce as well. And Andy Carroll's taking a little bit of a Mickey take out of Steve Bruce. And he's not the only player, let's be honest. I mean, there's been Sean Longstaff saying that when Eddie Howe come in, he felt like he was being trained again. Callum Wilson's mentioned it. Dwight Gales recently. And now Andy Carroll. And obviously Fabian Schar, just with the emoji, zip, which basically means he's saying nothing. He's saying nothing about that. And it's a bit of banter, but it's a number of ex or current Newcastle players who've then basically turned around and said to Steve Bruce, you're basically shite. You didn't even train us, more or less. And let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's what it's about. And there's a circle of people who have said that. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is not being made public. I was invited to go on a radio station. And because my views were against Steve Bruce, I wasn't invited onto that radio station because I was backing the players. That's what I will tell you about that. But anyway, let's have a look and see what you are saying back in the live chat as well. Hella's going on to say having so many players being paid for England just shows you which direction this club is moving, and that's a good thing, says Nick. Is there any fan camps today? No, nobody's coming on today, Wolfson. Afternoon, Lee. I hope is everyone doing all right. Yes, we are all great. We're all meeting up, Johnny, myself, and Joe a little bit later. To be fair, how many players are now present team player for their own country? Yeah, you've got the Brazilian lads, haven't you? You've got Alexander Isak, Emil Kraft, Martin Dubravka. Just to name a few. Botman, if he's fully fit, potentially Tonali. Yeah, there's a few. It's strange with Lascelles, says Nick. Perhaps it's Eddie's loyalty, not wanting to part with people who have helped him. Maybe it's Lascelles being a good dressing room leader, but still, Yeah, no, but yes, it is a fantastic point you make, Nick, because even with Kieran Trippier, if he's second choice to Livramento next season, which probably that's going to be the case, having Trippier around the dressing room is massive, man. You see him on the touchlines. I don't know if the TV cameras pick it up, but the way he's encouraging the substitutes and encouraging and clapping on the even standing up, it's just that experience, and people look up to him, and Bruno going up to him when we won the trophy and stuff like this, and Kieran Trippier guiding him and all this. It was just brilliant, man. I think he's got to stay around, and maybe that's the reason why Lascelles is staying around. Who knows? Aye. Steve dust the whistle off when Amanda and me dad turn up Bruce. Ari, yes, we are. Sorry, enjoy the chat use. Yes, do keep your comments coming in about that as well. And if you are watching, drop us a like. However, got a new layout underneath us here. You know, going to be doing a lot of new layouts towards the end of the season. If you're a member of Newcastle Fans TV, you can see this little yellow message there. There will be some massive exclusive news coming very shortly, which changes the whole of NFTV for the future. But that's if you be a member. I want to get on to it kind of ties in with the contract extensions next with UEFA's rules, regardless of which competition that we're in next season. The reason being is you have to select a 25-man squad for next season. You can have up to 17 players who are foreign, unlimited as much as like, but you've got to have 8 homegrown players, which is different to club trained players. So you've got to have 8. That'll take you to 25. Having 8 club trained players. Put my teeth back in, but 4 of them have to be club trained. Club trained basically means between the ages of 15 to 21. If a player has been trained for 3 years or more, they can be classed as club trained. You've got to have 4. Newcastle don't have 4 currently at the moment. So we're going to look at that list as well, because at the moment, Newcastle will have a short-ass squad. Let's go through that. Here it is. I made this graphic a little bit earlier. So on the left-hand side, you've got all of your homegrown players. Nick Pope, Mark Gillespie, John Ruddy, Kieran Trippier, Tino, Jamaal Lascelles, Dan Burn, Matty Targett, Murphy, Willock, Anthony Gordon, Harvey Bond, Callum Wilson. The stars next to Gillespie, Ruddy and Wilson basically mean that they're a free agent in the summer, so they're not guaranteed to be here next season. In fact, none of them are guaranteed, because we could sell 1 or 2. You never know. But go with the mindset, right? And then the foreign talent that we currently have in the squad is Martin Dubravka, Odysseus Vlachodimos, Emil Kraft, Sven Botman, Fabian Schar, Joe Linton, Bruno Gomes, Sandro Tonali, Alexander Isak, and Will Asula. Club trained players. So that's Sean Longstaff, and Alex Murphy isn't yet, but he is in the summer, because he will be still here, and he's still only 20, he'll be turning 21. He would have then be qualified because he's been here for 3 years inside that age gap, regardless that he's out on loan at Bolton currently at the moment. He will be classed as club trained. So he can be selected if he wants to. But what's also interesting is that Murphy could also be selected for an under 21 list because he's still 21 and under. So he doesn't have to be selected in the club trained. And then the under 21 players don't actually have to be registered in your squad. So you might not say Lewis Hall registered, just in case Newcastle want to sign an extra 1 or 2 bodies. He might be selected for an under 21 list, same as Lewis Miley. All the under 21s, the likes of Trevan Sanusi, Garan Kowal, etc., they don't have to be registered because they can be put on the B list, which is an under 21 list. So, in theory, Newcastle don't have to select Lewis Miley and Lewis Hall and keep those extra 2 places for a couple of signings potentially. But at this very moment, if nothing changes, 2 players will miss out, which is probably 2 of the keepers, I would have thought. Because you've got Nick Pope, Mark Gillespie, John Ruddy, Martin Dubravka, Odysseus Vlachodimos. You've got 5 keepers. You don't need 5 goalkeepers registered for European competition. So naturally, you would think that 2 will come out from that. I'll go through the rules with you on the right-hand side. The UEFA squad rules allows 17 players to be named in a club squad without any restrictions. In order to name more players in their squads, clubs must include 8 homegrown players. Of the 8 homegrown players, at least 4 need to be club trained to bring the squad to a full quota of 25. Because Newcastle don't have 4 club trained players, the squad will be reduced to a 23-man squad in brackets, 2 players will miss out, and an under 21 listed players don't need to be registered in the main squad. And then you say the asterisk underneath free agents in the summer, which is Mark Gillespie, John Ruddy, Callum Wilson, and then 2 stars next to Alex Murphy, because he will become a club-trained player if the club wish to use them as that, or they can stick him on the under 21 list. So it doesn't really make much difference for Alex Murphy. But there you go. Hopefully I hope you haven't confused us. Because there's a lot of stuff on social media where people get confused with homegrown and club trained. The two different things, the two massive different things as well. But it's interesting. Look, we've got a massive push towards Europe this season. Realistically, we don't want to be in the Conference League. Let's not kid ourselves. It's great that we've got that as a lifeline, which is brilliant. And no doubt we would have settled for that last season. But Man United winning the FA Cup took that away from us. But you don't want to go to Slovakia playing their 4th position team, or these kind of teams. You want to be playing teams that are based in Spain and Italy and Germany and Holland and Belgium, France and so on. You want the bigger sides. So whether that's Europa League or ideally the Champions League. So Newcastle do have that game in hand. So you ideally want to play Champions League football, which leaves me nicely on to. If Newcastle do qualify for the Champions League, I don't think you'll see much of Emil Kraft, Jamaal Lascelles, etc., Matty Target. But if we qualify for Europa League and Conference League, I think you'll see them more often. So again, I did this video last month. It depends where Newcastle finish in the competitions, I guess. How often these lads are going to play it as well. Lascelles will be worth keeping for another season as he's a squad player, says goody gumdrops. To kind of phrase, will easily pass the English quota, but not in the full academy trained. Can we not buy Elliot Anderson back? Yes, we could effectively. Yes, you can. But I think Elliot Anderson will come back eventually one day. Matt goes on to say, squad rules are a nightmare on FM. The rules could also explain why we are doing the contract extensions, because we're going to need a big squad regardless of which competition we're in. And Joe White technically go in the club trained, but not sure how that helps. Yes, yeah, still under 21 as well, isn't he? Out alone. He's doing well. I preferred the Geordie Tartan one floating about. Yeah, says Nate as well. We'll bring you some more of the kick concepts as more and more come out. And just Hall definitely make the under 21. What's the cut-off date? Yeah, I think Lewis Hall's fine for the under 21s, because I think you can still turn 21 during the season, be fine as well. Holborn, Ethan. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. You can still turn 21 because Alex Murphy turns 21 in the summer as well. Yeah, keep your comments in. We've got one more story to wrap up, which is basically going to be about the good old transfer rumours. Now, I'm not going to be talking about Sandro Tonali being rumoured to go out the club, because it's not news, it's non-existent, or any players that are linked. But I do want to bring up 4 players that have been linked to more than one media outlet. I'm not you know this, regulars, I'm not a massive fan of transfer rumours. It's shit videos, it's shit content. It's not newsworthy, in my opinion, but we might bring 1 or 2 in over the summer to talk about it. But rather than just talking about this guy's linked to this player, instead we're going to look at other things across the summer. Fans of their clubs can tell us more, or media experts on Bundesliga football, whatever. Because it's just regurgitating crap. I'm not a massive fan of it, but I do want to bring up 4 that won't go away the last few days. Let's have a look. First one, on the left-hand side, Tyler Diblin, Southampton winger, just 18. We've been linked to him for a good while now. Now, initially, there was some reports going out a couple of months back that Southampton wanted up to 100 million. Ouch. For a kid who hasn't even played, 40, 50 games yet? Went to Chelsea, couldn't settle, came back to Southampton. But it's been on the Chronicle actually today. 60 million drop down price. I think if you buy Tyler Diblin, let's say Newcastle did, I think you're buying for the future. I don't necessarily think Tyler Diblin will definitely come in and replace Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy's having the season of his life. I think in time, the next 18 months to 2 years, I think Diblin would. But you're not buying for now. You are going to be buying for potential. So which way did Newcastle want to go with? They go for Diblin? Do they want to buy a world-class right winger and make Murphy the squad player? Or do you want to go and buy someone with buy potential? Got no problems with Eddie Howe building and improving players. We've seen that already with players in the squad. Murphy's one of them. But can that money be spent elsewhere? For me, I wouldn't go for Tyler Diblin. I think it's too early in his development, and I'm not even against him just for his own development to have another season in the Championship because he's so young. He is so young. Let me know in the comments. Facundo Medina, who plays for Lens, centre back, left footed, 25 years old. Lens are requesting around 24 million. I think this is a dead rubber. This isn't happening. We've just literally just talked about centre backs signing contract extensions, and you've already got Sven Botman and Dan Burn and potentially even Alex Murphy as well, who are left footed, who can play as centre back. This one's not happening. It's been floating around the last 24 hours. That one, I think the Chronicle have picked up on it as well. That's a dead rubber. That one's not happening. We are linked to right centre back. That makes a little bit more sense, despite Lascelles and Kraft signing and Schar signing contract extensions. The interesting one, which probably has a little bit more legs to it because he's done well, is Liam Delap. Again, the Chronicle have picked up on this as well. Man United on Newcastle. Liam Delap, Ipswich striker, 22 years of age. 40 million that they say. I've seen fees at 30 million. I've seen fees at 50 million, but Ipswich are going down. He has proven in a poor squad. I think he's got 12 or 13 goals this season. That is really, really good for a side that is struggling in its first real season in the Premier League. When Ipswich signed him, I'm not going to lie, I thought, blooming hell, that's a gamble. I wouldn't have took that. But having said that now, if Callum Wilson goes, would Liam Delap be happy to play a second fiddle? Probably no. But if we're in European football and Isak can go down with an injury every so often, Liam Delap for me is probably an upgrade on Callum Wilson, and he's so young. I wouldn't be against this signing as a backup to Alexander Isak. Look, I think any player that comes in is a backup to Alexander Isak. He's gone on another level. Alexander Isak is world class. He deserves to play for a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, like an elite club. But we're so thankful that he's at Newcastle. But I could see that's got a bit. I could see the reasoning behind it. I wouldn't be against that as a backup, but we'll see. And the other one is obviously Benfica's, and this is I've seen this twice, and TRB have pushed it again today. I think it's a dead rubber again. Obviously Pavlidis going against, he ripped apart England, did he, at Wembley? Benfica has only just spent, I think it's his first season there, I believe, and they went up to 80 million. They're not allowing him to go. They're just simply not allowing it. They want 80 odd million. That is a no-go. That's way too much for a player who hasn't been proven in the big leagues, if that makes sense. Yes, he can do it in Greece, and yes, he can do it in Portugal, but can he do it in England? So, nah, not for me. I'd rather go for Delap. He's cheaper. He's proven for a season. So those are the four ones that have not gone away. Yes, there's one or two that are out there still, but these are the four that I wanted to highlight. But for me, Diblin, yes, exciting for the future, but not now. Facundo Medina's nothing in that. Delap, I could see that happening. And Pavlidis, I've got no chance in that happening as well. Let's have a look what you lot are saying in the comments as well. I can't even say now. Reluctant Gamer's gone out and say, I love the kit. It's better than this season. I don't like this season kit to white. 60 million is insane. Just crazy, says Nick. And that's a knockdown price as well. Liam Delap would be a very good signing, says Matt. And his release clause wouldn't be too crazy. To kind of phrase, Big RQ will be whole, will count the club trained when he's 21. The dates are tight. Yeah, they are. But because even if he turns 21, I think he's all right, isn't he? But Matt has gone out and say it, and Delap has proven already he can score goals in a relegation side, so Delap ticks a few boxes for sure. And Delap makes a lot of sense, and the cost is very good. Trafford between the sticks next year, he is class and get it done. Well, there is talk that it is done, isn't it? But yes, he's in a side where they're not conceding. That's not all down to the goalkeeper. Let's not kid ourselves. Burnley's defense has been absolutely sensational, but it is the Championship, and last season he got replaced by Muric, who's Ipswich, and Muric is an awful goalkeeper. And yes, Burnley were conceding goal after goal, and that's probably the way that Vincent Kompany was playing that style of football at the time. It was more or less, we're not changing our ways, similar to what Southampton did. It's kind of affected them, and I don't know how Vincent Kompany got the Bayern Munich job, but it's the style of football that he wanted to play, and obviously it was more or less, they were getting peppered, and yes, they might say it's not James Trafford's fault, but obviously it does look good in the Championship. Anthony Gordon raves about him when they both won the Euros. Was it the Euros with England? Yeah. I think Cole Palmer raves about him as well. So, look, I think Newcastle do need an upgrade on the goalkeeper now. Dubravka's going to stay. He's got that 1 year. Maybe it's to get a transfer fee if he leaves, but I can see him staying. And if Trafford was to come in, Nick Pope's not hanging about. I can't say that. I really can't. Granted, Nick Pope's kicking has been a little bit better the last 2 to 3 games. But I don't know. I don't know if Nick Pope. I just think he's at the top of the mountain and it's the decline is coming, if that makes sense. He's on the way down now. And Newcastle probably do need to strengthen. There's no point having 5 goalkeepers, and you've got to get rid of Vlachodimos as another one. Get him off the wage bill. Get a small fee, 5 to 10 million if you can. Get him out the club because he's fell down behind John Ruddy, which is mental, absolutely mental. And obviously we had to do that deal, otherwise we would have got screwed over by PSR, which is mental. Because we had to let Anderson go to Forest in exchange. They wouldn't have bought him if we didn't take Vlachodimos off their hands. Crackers, man. Absolute mental. Absolute crackers. I hope you've enjoyed this little live for 20 odd minutes. And yes, if you can drop us a massive like, we are going to be doing the build-up to Man United. We're going to be doing a couple of videos that we don't really do a ton of previews, but we are going to do 1 or 2. And then, of course, at Man United, I think it might be just me and on the last word. Because Johnny's a bit under the thumb at the minute. So I think it might be just me on the last word, but I'll bring you the content on NFTV on this Sunday. And I'm also doing a double header. I'm at the women and the men. So the women's kick off at 2. And then from there, I'm jumping in my car and straight to St. James's Park for the half-hour kickoff. So I'm doing 2 games in the space of 5 hours. So that'll be fun. Aye, that'll be fun indeed. But anyways, lovies and leavies, get yourselves out in the sunshine, go and enjoy it, and we'll see you soon on NFTV. Take care. Bye-bye.